it is right now. The world as we know at the time, well, according to the axis, we're actually a bit faster than we think we are. Did any of that make sense? I don't think so. But hello and welcome to the feed. And I suppose I should actually put the microphone in. And voila, because we are in Studio K and Studio K has a lot of background noise. I seem to have lost the little mouse that sits on top. But regardless, the show will go on because you don't need all the equipment. We certainly proved you can have a television channel. Oh, I've left it somewhere in Studio L for living room. Hello. We're having pork dumplings. Dwayne is making pork dumplings. So if you are not a meat eater, and also if it's against religion, then please be aware of that. I won't be putting your eyeballs right in the meat, as you can see. Dwayne is preparing, but he has. This is something he prepared earlier. He has actually been preparing. And what are you adding there, darling?
Sesame oil.
Sesame oil. So I suppose because although not a cooking show, this is a show that has food and food for thought. And we're going to talk about a few things here. But we should perhaps, if you're interested, Dwayne will share right now. My darling, would you like to share with what you're doing?
I'm marinating the meat.
Right. And what are you putting?
Plain pork.
Plain pork.
With soy sauce, sesame oil, salt.
I just put the kettle on, not meaning to. Oh, I'm sorry about that. So say that again.
Sesame oil, soy sauce, salt, pepper, and some mixed eggs.
And now you're just going to massage that all into...
Yeah, so I'm going to mix it until it's all...
wonderfully zhuzhed together. Right.
So it retains some moisture.
Right.
So it doesn't dry out when you cook the dumplings.
And then you're going to make your own dumpling stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dumpling flour? Dumpling pastry?
Wrappers.
Dumpling wrappers. Okay,
Yeah.
Great. I do love your use of salt. You use it in a very intelligent way, in the way salt is meant to be used. And we've talked...
to put an extra bit of salt so it... because the wrappers are...
that much salt, and then they'll put like a shaker of salt on their food.
Well, it's funny because people put a little bit of salt, but then they add stock and then, other spices and, MSG. Soy sauce has salt, so,
there is a reason why salt is such a precious commodity and why so much has been fought about salt. Because salt really is all you need. Dwayne is, now a lot of people know Salt Bay, right? That Turkish chef who was in Dubai and did that silly, stupid Ponzi things like that. Dwayne's usage of salt is very artistic and also beautiful. I really love how you actually are not afraid to use salt and we've described this before, salt tends to prick the membrane of other ingredients and allow it to be, it sort of permeates the cells of the other ingredients. This is how it feels to me. I don't know how to cook. No, I don't. But I do understand the chemistry and the science of cooking. I find cooking to be an art form. And of course the world does too, but I'm not sure if they see it as an art form or it's a strip show. That's not to say that strip shows can't be an art form, because the people performing the strip shows, I don't know how to refer to them, so the strippers. And of course, burlesque was a big thing. And let me tell you about that time. I actually used to run the Australian burlesque calendar. No. I am not a burlesque performer. I have never been a burlesque performer. I've been a flamenco performer, kathak and contemporary dance, and a singer. But burlesque is something I enjoyed watching other people do. And at one stage, it was really, really huge in Australia back when it was an alternative art form. And it was very, very messy because these artists were more interested in what they were doing rather than the organization of it. I decided as a fan to take things into my own hands, and that's also where my professional photography career started. But I will talk about that in a show we've got coming up next week. Mm-hmm. The launch is next week. The new TV guide for April 15th to 21st will drop on Sunday evening after we premiere 2 new shows on Sunday called Stylander and The Riff. Stylander is about everything fashion, especially the philosophy, the history, and the fun of it. And The Riff is about everything music, not just my experience with it. Dwayne plays guitar. He'd say, no. He just plays a bit. Ugh. And I sing a bit. Well, I used to sing professionally, and I can still sort of sing in the shower. And my husband thinks I sound good still. So, but I also know quite a bit about music because I used to be a radio presenter and also as a singer, professional singer myself. So I, used to, yeah. So that's premiering tomorrow. First of all, it's Stylander, which is the fashion show. And tomorrow it's 5 favorite pieces. And in the riff, we're talking about lyrics of particular songs and histories of that song. So join us tomorrow. They're on our channel, what times are scheduled. Please, if you feel like it, get notified. Come on, grow with us, enjoy what we're producing. As we get bigger, we will be featuring other contributors and presenters and personalities. Right now, it is very us-centric. Yeah, I get it. That's because we have a lot of information, and between us a skill set that has allowed us to garner and gather a lot of experiences in different skill sets that allow us to talk about all the very different things that we have on our channel. And if you look around, we've got a lot. We've got shows coming about. We've got Rucks and Rolls coming up too. We've got Sidara coming up. Stay tuned for that. But right now, we're on The Feed. And it is not a cooking show, but it is a show about food and food for thought. So, I do love all of these simple recipes you do, darling, and perhaps we should really dedicate some time just to the recipes you make, because I love how you simplify the process, you make it elegant, and yet the flavors pop. Your flavors pop, and I do think it's because of your wonderful use of salt and your preparation. Would you agree? That's...
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about the prep. Right?
Right, yes. Sorry. If you've ever watched the movie Fifth Element, and do you remember who was the director? Luc Besson. We talk more. We also have Finalysis, which is where we talk about characters, movies, and TV shows, all our favorite characters, movies, and TV shows. Not exactly reviews. We don't review, we talk about, we analyze. So Finalysis. We'll talk about The Fifth Element there too shortly, directed by Luc Besson, starring one of my favorite action heroes, way, way before Jennifer Lawrence insisted she was the first, female action hero. But Mila Jovovich was Lilu Multipass. And oh, I love her. But so also, and that pairing of, a young Lilu with Bruce wasn't exactly young, but Bruce Willis, we cannot say anything bad about him because we love Bruce Willis. And Bruce Willis, unfortunately, is not in a good way. He has got dementia, frontal lobe dementia, that is a bit more detrimental than what normal dementia. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know, my wording there is not correct. So it's quite sad. But Bruce in his heyday, come on, Bruce Willis, on that side smile, and you know that you're about to get thumped. Yippee-ki-yay, mother, beep! Anyway, Fifth Element. Bruce Willis plays Corbin Dallas. And Ruby Rod's like, my man, Corbin! Corbin Dallas, come on, my man! How are you feeling, Corbin? Tell me how you felt today. Do you feel good?
Yeah.
That's Corbin Dallas, and that's Dwayne Levi, a man of very few words, but of dense action. And there is the gelatinous pork mixture now, all massaged, and you were going to use, you massage all soy and sesame seed oil and salt and pepper, Himalayan salt and cracked pepper. So it's not, we do use good ingredients. So you don't have to cover everything with all sorts of spices and ingredients. Come on! And sauces, people just use sauces because our palates, like our genitalia, well, not mine, not ours, but I'm just being polite, numb. So palates are so numb and coated by sauces and sugar that people have forgotten what flavor actually is. So salt and the way you prepare something is really, really, I think, very, very important. It's all in the planning, and it's all in the, just use simple things to really make everything zhuzh. What's happening, darling? There's a lot of action.
Oh, sorry, I'm clearing this so I can roll the things here. Don't worry about me.
Well, I'll just do some aerobics. Anyway, I was saying, look, I actually have some information for you that I should have brought. I should have, so I can read some information out to you about actual dumplings. And we're also going to talk about some other things that I have been, talking about, like belief systems. What do you believe in? Not belief systems. I'm not necessarily talking about religion, but what do you believe? Do you believe in yourself? Are you someone you can rely on? That's, do you believe in yourself? And also, what lies do you tell yourself? But I do want to share, because we don't have the Daily Egg on weekends, so I haven't been able to share anything newsworthy. I do want to talk about this, what is happening here? I'll wait till Dwayne is back, about another show coming up. It's all about science and tech, because Dwayne and I have a lot of interests, and we like finding out about everything, and what we don't know, we're happy to find out, and we would like to share all that information and our research skills, so please do join us when we have that one too. I was going to save this particular topic until that time, but I just want to talk about it quite briefly, because it's look, it's interesting what's happening in the world, and you can't really believe anything you see anymore. Everything is, oh, thank you, darling. Everything seems to be, my darling, can you just get all of this happening? And, oh, thank you, hang on. Excuse me, we have to do some behind the scenes stuff. Just pretend you can't see it. Talk amongst yourselves. I just, thank you, because I have saved some information about pork dumplings that I want to actually share with you. So give me a moment and I will get back to you. And also, I just need to take a gulp of water. All that fast forward talking really took it out of me. This should be a reminder to have a glass of water. Hydration, people, hydration. All of us are not hydrated enough. That is fact. None of us are drinking as much water as we should. Sometimes not even you, darling. And it is because of you that I am able to remember I don't drink enough water. Anyway, so where was I? So yeah, I do want to read out to you the history of, dumplings, etc., pork dumplings. And perhaps I should have actually taken that. I should have had that information ready before. But what's the fun of that? This is alive. It's like, we're about to start in a minute. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, where's my lipstick? I've got it on. Anyway. So, what was I saying? I was saying I would like to. All I know about dumplings, darling, is they're Chinese.
Me too, I think.
But I do know perhaps a little bit more. They're actually Cantonese.
Oh, wow.
Now, we do know the differences between Cantonese and Mandarin, right? They're both Chinese languages, yes. Not dialects, languages. Now, Mandarin is spoken in mainland China, in Taiwan, and in Singapore. Cantonese is what was spoken in Hong Kong and Guangdong district, which is northwest of Hong Kong. I know a bit of Cantonese, which is Ni Hao Ma and all that, because I used to sing and model in Hong Kong in the mid-90s. And I know a little bit of Mandarin because most people who are in Australia and of course when going to Singapore, they speak Mandarin. I don't know what they speak in Fiji, darling. Yes, he is part Chinese. Knows nothing.
I don't know.
Okay, we will not refer to Corbin Lee Wai over here. Dwayne Dallas, darling. Yes, you are. I do love that. But a man of few words and a lot of action is what is so beautiful. Oh my God! Listen, why are you letting me babble over here when we could have been watching artistry happen? Am I actually pointing the camera to where it needs to be pointed? Or am I now showing people what the floor and our dishwasher looks like?
No, yeah, you're right.
Oh, great. I really should be doing this, really. Ooh, that's very mesmerizing. That was very lovely. Are you going to do anything else?
Well, I'm going to start rolling it now.
Oh, cool. Rolling, rolling, rolling. So I might just keep the camera on you and keep talking because I do need to find out. So a bit more information about dumplings and who introduced them, and there's some actual history about it. So I think I'm going to read that out. Yeah. But I do want to talk a little bit about some articles and some things I've come across that I wanted to discuss when we do launch our science and tech show. Because other than we've got a few shows coming through, and so that'll come. I might just point the camera here. Let's do that, shall we? Is that all right to do, darling? Just leave the focus on you because it's very mesmerizing. All right.
This is the second time I'm making dumpling wrappers, so.
Well, I think it's wonderful.
If anyone's got any tips, please.
Yes, as I said, this is not a cooking show. This is just Dwayne can cook. Basically, Dwayne can cook anything. You just need to have, one time. And I know it sounds like I am, because, bias, all right, this, my husband, but I don't speak shit. Let's get that straight. I would never, ever exalt the virtues of someone who I don't feel deserves to have their virtues extolled. So, this is what are you doing? And I have not got the patience for things like that. This is why I just eat. And
little pizza.
Oh, look, that's behind the scenes stuff of getting a stool for me to sit on.
Okay. I'm just rolling.
Rolling. Keep them dumplings rolling.
I'm sure I'll get better the more I do this.
Roll dough.
You'd think, right? That was really good.
Thank you. I need to sing this song again, just in case no one heard it. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep them dumplings dough. Knowing. Roll hide. Or rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep them dumplings rolling. Roll dough. Is that from the Blues? That's Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was a stool. I don't know if excuse me, that was the stool. I don't know if Rawhide was actually a show. But anyway, I hope that this is look, I'll just keep talking, just watch Dwayne because it's very, I love it. It's artistic, and there's this ASMR, they call it, it's just soothing to watch people do things. So, and that's when people say, yes, it would be soothing if you just shut up for a minute. But
it's like narration, right?
Well, yes.
But
get with it, people.
In this, oh my goodness, this is terrible.
Oh, look. What do you mean it's terrible?
I mean, it's a bit...
Darling, I'm sure it's going to be squashed down and it's going to taste well, but I do love that you are very pedantic about these things. Look, people do not want to eat rotis rolled by me because they're square, which I think is way more practical anyway.
Mine is square.
Oh, whatever.
I think people have seen my rotis, so you can't deny that one.
But your rotis are, oh my gosh, they stay soft for 2 days.
But it's just the rolling, I guess.
Oh, look, it's the preparation and it's the love and the mindfulness you put into it. Like with everything. And yet now I know what it feels like to roll rotis. I think of my mother, and you have talked about your mother just standing there rolling, and my mother, every time I wanted to eat rotis, she would, and now I know, I'm so, oh my gosh. Because now if anyone would like to eat rotis, I'd be like, no, go get your own. And but it's hard work. Standing there, rolling. Oh my goodness me. Anyway, I was going to share some information about some dumplings. So while I search for information, people should look at what you're doing. Is there any special way you made the dough, darling?
Just water and flour.
Okay.
And a bit of salt.
Water and flour and a bit of salt. Salt is the magic ingredient, huh?
You can, some depends on salt is.
Why did it not go there? Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find out the history of dumplings, and I should have done this before, but hello, what's the point of that? Let's see. Oh, look, Okay, I am reading from a site called, I guess I should read with my glasses on, Chef One. So chef1foods.com. And the title of this is What is a Dumpling? But let me first also, God, why do people, look, you know how we're talking about food right now? Let's talk cookies. They're only good when Dwayne makes them, or, you know, people who know how to make cookies. But when you're online, you don't have to accept all cookies. You can actually just choose strictly necessary cookies and not performance and targeting. It's okay to do that. But everyone just, no one bothers. It's like, yeah, just accept it, because face it, we're all watched anyway. What is a dumpling? The meaning and history behind this delicious food. This was posted on Friday, March the 13th, 2020 by Chef One Foods team. So, we think a lot about dumplings over here, including the dumpling meaning and the history behind them. That's because it's important to know the story behind your food, especially food that's been passed down generation to generation across many cultures. Because dumplings have been around for so long and appear in so many different cultural cuisines, the exact details surrounding their origins are cloudy. That being said, we've gathered some fast facts for you on what's generally considered to be the most widely accepted version of the dumpling's history.
Australia.
Ah, that's cool. Besides, you know, by the way, Australians love dumplings, and I think I sent that thought to you, my darling, because as I was reading out, I was saying, gosh, that's true. We love dumplings over here, and every time there's a dumpling place, it's like, let's go to the dumpling place, everyone. That's because it's just...
I think everyone likes dumplings.
Everyone loves dumplings because it's a wonderful, it's basically a cooked sandwich, right? And then it's very easy to eat, and it's portable, and it's very social.
Tasty.
Well, okay, yeah, we'll get to that part later, because not every dumpling is tasty. A lot of food now is rather bland, darling, because they have to put in things to ensure that they have preserved it, so no, you know, sensitive, digestive person then decides to go and sue people, because everyone just blames everybody else for everything that happens to them. Oh my goodness me. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's like, come on, take some responsibility. Anyway. Who invented dumplings? Let's start with who invented dumplings, since this is where the story of the dumplings begin. Look, this is really poor writing, Chef One Foods team. I do appreciate your story, and I'm going to, we're going to put it in the caption, but we don't really need to repeat. That's just writing for the sake of having words. So, most experts believe that dumplings were invented by Zhang Jiangjing, a Chinese medicine practitioner who lived in the Eastern Han Dynasty, the second imperial dynasty of China that lasted from 206 BC to 220 AD. I don't believe we use these terms in these acronyms or Anno Domini or blah 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 anymore. So and this is of course going by the Gregorian calendar. The Chinese lunisolar calendar is only used for astrological purposes. Otherwise, they too follow the Gregorian calendar. It's interesting though. I'd like to know what they followed before the Gregorian calendar, considering the Gregorian calendar didn't really come into effect until the 1500s. Somewhere around that. But anyway, so as legend tells it, it was a difficult winter and many were experiencing ill effects from the cold. To help people warm up, Zhang Jing took mutton, herbs and chilies and wrapped them in dough, then steamed them to bind everything together and keep them warm. These steaming pillow-like treats helped people overcome the cold weather, while the herbs that Zhang Jing put inside worked to improve blood circulation and prevent frostbite.
Wow.
Food, the preparation of it is medicinal. The fact that it's tasty happens to be a bonus. And that's what happened to make it more palatable. Those people who are the scientists of food and medicine. So food, I think, came about as a form of medicine in the first place.
Sure.
To how to sustain yourself, how to use these plants around you, and to make it palatable and easy. That's why hunger existed. Hunger exists to show us that our bodies need something. Likewise, thirst.
Yeah.
Thirst exists to tell us, you are dehydrated. Thirst doesn't mean you're thirsty, it means you're dehydrated. We should never be at that position of being thirsty. And a lot of times when we're hungry, it's actually just food. It's actually just water, sorry, and this is what you keep reminding me, that have a glass of water, because it's just what our body's craving hydration, and we get a lot of hydration from food, but not the processed food we eat now, because of course the food that is processed and that we eat now has a lot of sugar, which is very dehydrating, and sodium, which is separate from salt. Yes, they're all salty, and salt has a lot of sodium, but not when used in its raw form prior to the cooking. Added to cooked food, I think it's problematic. Please know that I do not talk as a medical professional, nor scientist, not even a cooking professional. Only what I understand about the alchemy of ingredients and food. So I wasn't saying please no to you, darling. You know that me, but I'm just saying to the viewer and listener. Right, where was I? I was talking about the history of dumplings. While the history of dumplings is often accepted as having started with Zhongjing, my apologies. And I don't actually know if Zhang, if Z-H-A-N-G is Zh or Zhang, because I know everyone pronounces Beijing, but it's that Beijing, that J is not a J. You know, it's like because bonjour, the J in French, Latin, is Je, people pronounce Beijing, but it's Beijing.
Okay, cool.
But the pronunciation of ZH is a bit, I don't really, perhaps I really should have looked into it, but I'm pretty sure it's Zhongjing. The general idea of dumplings, and I'm still reading now from Chef One Foods, the general idea of dumplings as we know them today followed quite an interesting and varied trajectory. I did have a little bit of a gripe about what they're saying, but I'm also, people who can write a long article about dumplings, really, I like this. This is good. They've done research and they've really thought about it. These people love their dumplings. Because you can find dumpling variations in nearly every culture. Italian raviolis and Brazilian empanadas are just two of the offshoots, and samosas, right? Just two of the offshoots of the traditional Chinese dumpling. I don't know if samosa is an offshoot, because I think the samosa would have come from with the North Indians, who were Persians, who were of Middle Eastern, and so therefore nomadic and desert, and plus the North Indians are nomads, they're desert people as well. So desert dwelling people tend to have food that they can carry with them, and so they pack their meats, etc., in flour that tends to preserve it and keep it all together. So on the go, you have all the foods that people of Middle Eastern and Indian ancestry eat, but all in one, combined in one. So when you're on the move, they're all in one thing. A sandwich, a roti, roti parcel. And of course, sandwich would have been inspired by everything that the Indians and Chinese and Middle Eastern people were doing. A sandwich is named after the Earl of Sandwich, when he decided he wanted some bread and with meat in between. And that's how a sandwich was born. So, you do make wonderful sandwiches, darling. Sandwiches
are always better when someone else makes it.
Oh, look, no. You do not want to have a sandwich I make. Listen, I do know how to spread butter on bread, but that's about it. I don't really know my sandwich in comparison. So we should do that one day. Make sandwiches of the same ingredients, darling, and we'll see what I make, and then we'll see what artistry is, and then what you make. But you are... Yes, absolutely, a sandwich. I do think I do think that it is something, because I know people who pride themselves on being good sandwich makers. And also a character, Ross in Friends, bemoaning the fact that Monica's Thanksgiving sandwich was stolen from the fridge where he worked.
Also, Joey doesn't like sandwiches.
Joey likes sandwiches. A good sandwich is a thing of beauty. Oh, yes. So this is what a dumpling is as well. Anyway. So we were talking about the offshoots of the traditional Chinese dumpling. The history of the dumpling has many different starting points, even if their official invention was during the Han Dynasty. Recipes for dumplings appear in later years in ancient Roman texts, with the very first dumpling recipe itself found in Apicius, a Roman cookbook. Well, while dumplings appeared in many forms for many centuries during ancient times, it wasn't until the 17th century that they finally got their name. The first use of the term dumpling, because I love the etymology of words, and I haven't even thought about the etymology of this word. Goodness. Anyway, the first use of the term dumpling can be found in an English text from 1600, where it was noted that the word was perhaps of, guess, what origin? Guess. Dumpling. Guess.
German?
That's right. For 10 points. You are correct, sir. You win the colonization trophy. Where it was noted that the word was perhaps of German origin. And while Zhongjing may have created dumplings in the first place to help people survive brutal winters, other cultures created dumplings for other reasons, such as to help extend the life of meat and to make use of surplus grains. Now this is why pies and pasties and or Cornish, or what I can't remember what it's called, the Celtic samosa-like things. There's a whole heap of things. Every single culture, racial background, regardless of region, seems to have some sort of pastry dish. And I think actually, let me say that again. Every single culture and racial grouping that has got nomadic tendencies or cold weather. So what do warm weather people do? Every culture, every cultural community, every racial background has some form of bread, right?
Sure, yeah, I think so. I mean, even
First Nations people, yes.
Nations.
Well, I think we can call, I don't know if Aboriginal is the correct term.
Yeah.
We don't really know, so I prefer First Nations
Yeah,
people.
so the First Nations
Yep,
have a
it's
bread.
been proven they used to make bread. Amazing,
Sometimes
amazing.
just from the desert heat.
Wow, that's civilization. That is people with intelligence, understanding. And what is intelligence if not just the ability to help to survive and survive well, to listen to one's body, to listen to one's needs, to be in sync with the environment, and to look after the environment so that the environment can look after you. What if that's intelligence? 40,000, 60,000 years ago, and you and I have seen footsteps that have now been commemorated and imprinted in concrete or cement. How do I say that?
Yeah, cement.
Cement. Footprints that were, what 60,000 years old? And we saw that at a very ancient place that was actually a lake. On Google Maps, it's still shown as a lake. Stay tuned for the slideshow dropping this week. We'll show you when and where. We'll have the TV guide up on Sunday evening. That is April the 14th. The TV guide for what's happening on the lives of our days from the 15th to the 21st of April. And next week, we'll also be dropping the slideshow, and we are talking about all of this, talking about the footsteps we saw, and the civilization of the land, the ancient land that is where Australia, the country, modern country, is built on. I'm going to continue reading about the dumplings, but as I was saying, every it's practical things. So pies, etc., were to preserve. Well, not to preserve. Sorry, pies were made to make use of old meat.
Yeah.
Meat is getting old, so we'll do something with it. Type thing. So.
Oh, I mean, like sandwiches, right?
Well, yeah.
Roast beef sandwich.
Sure, but you use that after the meat has been allowed to sit after being cooked. So you eat it fresh, but then the day after you eat it in sandwiches. It's wonderful. Again, apologies to meat eaters, non-meat eaters. We are respectful meat eaters if we could, and I do think that this is something that the world needs to think about, because it's not the meat eating that is a problem. It is the meat processing, the meat production, the way the meat is slaughtered in abattoirs. And in yesterday's Daily Egg, the news pieces I read about the slaughtering of animals, not yesterday's, my apologies, it was on Thursday's, the Daily Egg. The slaughtering of animals is such a huge problem, because the people who have to slaughter probably just get paid $1 an hour to do it. What do they care? The treatment of animals, because people just get so fed up they forget compassion. People who don't get compassion shown to them lack compassion, therefore it's a real strength to be able to show compassion where it's lacking, even if it's lacking in your life. So regardless, back to the meat eating. I do think we need to go into a more mindful way of getting meat. I know that if we could, and if you could, if there were farms that allowed this, you would be one of the people who went to get your meat yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we went back to the old ways of but I do think, because hello, I am a modern woman, I do like my modern cons, okay, but convenience is in that way, not cons as in con artist type thing. That's what con as in con artistry comes from confidence man. The term confidence man is a man who's so confident he can make you believe any lie, and we are talking about belief, so we might talk about that a little. but it is all tied in. So confidence, yes. Con man. So the where was I? Modern conveniences is what I'm talking about, and beliefs, etc. So, but it would be wonderful to go back to being able to get your own, having farms that sell straight to people who are willing to go and, well, kill your own animals,
Well, yeah,
because not many people would do that.
that's right.
So it would be amazing for a community, like say our community, our where we live, right? Ours is a bit. We could create a community because say we have a community vegetable garden, and many of us know each other, and one of the owners in the complex, she's amazing, and she's taken over the management of and the maintenance of our grounds, and she's wonderfully just on the ball about it all. Oh, what happened?
Oh, just stuck.
Well, that's okay. I like things that are not completely perfect, because they're always going to be disappointing if you think that they're supposed to be perfect. I like perfection. I like imperfection in my perfection, because you realize, regardless of what the flavors, I do love things. I like my idea of perfection if something is perfect without having been completely polished. Perfection needs to be something organic about it. Anyway.
Roll.
Oh, well, yeah, it can be. It can be maintained. It can be refined. So I don't like polish. I find polish fake, a little bit like what's going to happen to the world soon. This is where I think I should talk a little bit about what is it you believe, because you will not be able to believe very soon, dear viewer, what is happening, what is going to be shown on your screen. So stick with us, real ones. If you want reality TV, this is reality TV. But I haven't finished this article from Chef One Foods. So let me continue before I talk about what belief is and what I am actually referring to. While dumplings appeared in many forms for many centuries during ancient times. Oh, my apologies, I have read this. But just again, it wasn't until the 17th century that they finally got their name. So what this history of the dumpling tells us about their meaning is that some foods span the length of space and time. Many different cultures invented their own dumplings, and many of those dumplings were quite different than what Zhongjing first created, such as gnocchi and matzo balls. Now, gnocchi is Italian, and matzo is Hebrew, Jewish origin. And by understanding this unique history, we understand more about how food has functioned in general throughout the human experience, both as a practicality and as medicine for the mind, body, and soul. There is simply no food that's better than the dumpling for illuminating this important point and showing us that for all of our differences, food is one of the primary unifying factors that binds us together. Well, that's actually quite a lovely article from Chef One Foods, and I will have this article link in the caption so you can read about it further. That is lovely. And we talked about palau. How palau is actually a great unifying food, something that started off in Middle East and in Pakistan, and all the and went on to Europe, etc. And then we have it in Fiji, and it's palau season in Fiji because it's Eid now. Ramadan has the fast is done, and the new moon has been sighted. It is now Eid. So along with samay and all the other, the samay is a wonderful milk vermicelli noodle dish. Absolutely, it's a dessert dish. So yummy, and it's
So good.
so good.
You like cold?
Oh damn, both, depending on how I feel.
Right.
It's hot and cold. Both are excellent. So that palau, and then Dwayne makes the Indo-Fijian palau, and the last time he made chicken palau, but we also had lamb palau before that. But just a few days ago, we had chicken palau, and hello, how are you? I might as well just join in. Hi. So
you can see.
What else are you doing now, darling?
Well, I'm going to start cooking the.
Is it interesting?
Well, I have to wrap it and.
It's much more interesting than me. So we're going to move the camera back into looking at Dwayne. However, I was saying that we're talking about belief and what you can believe about what you're seeing, etc. But I was talking about palau, so please do go check that out on the feed. I think it's about 2, 3 weeks ago. And the last palau we had was chicken palau. And I said, oh my gosh, this is Fiji Indian wedding palau. And you've got to eat it with tomato chutney, hot tomato chutney, like cooked tomato chutney, Dwayne's tomato chutney. Mwah! I keep saying that we're going to go back into catering, but we haven't got the time because right now we are building our media platform and also trying to earn the money to pay the bills because we are professional creatives and have been for majority of our lives. So, we've got to also use our skill set to pay our bills. So, by the way, if you want to join us, come on board with us, please let me know. You can email us and we'll send you a media kit. Our prices, our rates are reasonable and a bargain, frankly, because you know what? We're going to get very expensive later. Because we're exclusive and we're selective, and it's not about the quantity of numbers, it's the quality. I have seen that now. I've done quite a bit of looking around. I mean, when I say numbers, when it comes to dumplings, yes, the quantity. Jokes, no. Again, quality. It's all about quality, and I think that's missing. I do think that is missing from the world, darling. Yeah. Everybody wants numbers. It doesn't really matter. Now, that, for me, the whole presentation thing of things is I'm seeing way too many people who rely too much on what something looks like rather than what it tastes like. And or feels like, or sees like. I do have to do some maintenance here. Excuse me for a moment. Perhaps again should just, ta-da, look better. Wonderful.
I'm doing it the shortcut way because I don't know how to do it the pro way.
I know your sisters make dumplings all the time, right? That looks fantastic. Can I zoom this in? Whoops, a bit too much there, folks. Whoopsie daisy. I'm very sorry about the shoddy camera work here, but oh, wow, gosh, it's very sensitive. Oh, lovely. It's lovely.
Cool.
Cute. Great. Now, if I was, then I would actually be doing this with you, but come on, give me that.
Well, you're hitting the camera, babe. So.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Somebody's got to do that.
Look, I just eat. So what was I saying? Palau. So palau is a great unifying dish, and that tomato chutney just oof. But wow, palau. What else do they put that stick? What's that bark they put in?
I think it might be cinnamon.
Ow! I don't like cinnamon. I'm not a cinnamon fan. It's terrible, I know, because cinnamon is one of the great wonders of the world, and it's very, very good for you. Excuse me, I do have to cough, so I'm just going to turn the volume, turn the sound off for a second or two. So, where was I, darling? I was talking. Where palau. Thank you very much. So yes, so that is a high accolade, darling. The highest compliment. That is Indo-Fijian wedding palau that we had. So good, and just like tomato chutney or hot tomato chutney. Oh my God, yes, so good. So and so we've got on the feed a palau making day up. Now let me talk about belief a little. Or do I really want to talk about these things while we've got all these wonderful food stuff being made? Food is a glorious thing. But as I have been saying, as I said, and we were reading from this article, it was originally started for medicinal purposes, to get the herbs and things that people need in order to get immunity, build immunity for the winters, etc. I don't know what we're doing to ourselves with food now. Food has become an enemy. Food has become emotional support. And so many people are traumatized that, see, okay, this is contentious what I'm about to say, but fat is not the problem. Not inside us, fat is not the problem. Our brains need fat. Our bodies need fat. Our bones need fat. Fat on the outside, well, that says that it's not a problem, but that is telling you that your body requires something there. And in winter, I believe it is a natural process for the body to actually put on weight as insulation. I think that that's what it does, because also it coincides with the fact that in order to warm ourselves up, we eat food. So, we eat food, but I think people now gorge on food and use food as emotional therapy to feel better about things. I do know that at times I have just my hunger has never been sated. And it's not hunger, it's just I need to eat something. Because I recognize that this is emotional eating, not now anymore, but before I really confronted my trauma, etc. There's an interesting relationship people have with food. Food is glorious, but it's become such a contentious thing where, that's okay. That's okay, because I'm going to do this. Oops, not that. This.
Overlap some and it's sticking. Silly.
It's all right, darling. This is the only second time that Dwayne is making this, so, hello.
Trial and error.
Yes, that's all that stuff. I'm going to just... We're wearing grey today because for those of you who've been watching The Daily Egg, along with Eid is also Navratri, Chaitra Navratri, and Chaitra is the name of the month. And Navratri literally means 9 nights, and it is to celebrate the goddess Durga in all her forms. And every day there is a new goddess to pray to. And I might just say this to camera without the meat. I don't know how, I don't want Hindus to get offended by this. I was brought up Hindu, but I'm not a practicing Hindu. I am a respectful Hindu, because I do love Hinduism. To me, Hinduism is spiritual science. And if we don't get caught up in what the patriarchy wants us to believe Hinduism is, it is an absolutely beautiful way to connect with the earth. It's stunning. These look stunning. Let's look at these. Oh, gosh. There we go. We've got some crazy flying things called... Oh, we've got some crazy flying things in the air. Gosh, it would have been amazing to first see all these things, right?
Like...
planes.
Yeah, how freaky. This metal cylinder in the sky. Well, that's not the first.
No, that wouldn't have been the first thing. They would have been seeing those tiger moths or whatever, ones, with the double wings, etc., etc. I can't remember what Amelia Earhart was flying, but women really, really love being pilots. It's just that the patriarchy refused to let them be pilots, etc. Gosh, isn't it just annoying?
They might just do it better.
Well, because women are better at multitasking. No offense, people. These are just facts, okay? Men are superb. Do not even think this is a misandrist's platform. I am very much for men, but I'm primarily for women. I'm not an apologist for men. I have no frickin' men's rights activists here. Thank you very much. But I do understand what men are supposed to be and what men can be. And you know why I understand that? Because I have a prime example here. And that happens because people are willing to work on themselves. I did record an entire episode of for our podcast talking about this. It's a bit of a... I first wanted to talk about... I was talking about motherhood and why I chose not to be a mother, but why... Because I do know what it is like to be a mother. I brought up children for two decades. I feel that maternal bond very much. But anyway, I would like to now talk about belief. Believe, my gosh. I'm reading all of these things now about, there's this thing called, I don't even want to name them. And women are working in collaboration, especially women who are making a lot of money on platforms like OnlyFans. They're collaborating with AI so that their likenesses... My darling, I'm going to take it off the food for a moment and just talk... let's talk us. And we'll talk more about this in our science and tech show. But this lighting is shit. So because I love my age. I embrace every natural part of me, but that doesn't mean I want to look hideous. Oops, sorry. Anyway, what am I saying here? I'm saying that I don't really know what's going on in the world, and I understand. So I'm going to share a story. I don't understand. I have already said I used to run something called the Australian Burlesque Calendar. I share that story on a show dropping next week. Stay tuned for that. Watch out for our TV guide. Yeah, but you know, I have a really interesting. Part of me wants women to benefit from all of these things that patriarchy has forced upon women. So I do not want to judge any woman who has chosen platforms like OnlyFans, etc., to make money and to express herself. I do think it is dangerous, though, and I do feel it is perpetuating the suppression of women. So these are two things I'm talking about here. A part of me doesn't want to condemn women because it's not women's fault. Again, Euro-white women are leading the way in this, as they do with everything, because anyway, but I do feel that because of this continued expansion of platforms that exploit a male's inability to be a man. Is that harsh?
A little bit.
Okay, then I don't want to, yeah, well, that is the show. I don't want to judge people. So exploits a man's laziness. Seriously. Not maybe inability to be a man, but everyone is very confused, including males. They don't know what it means to be a man. Again, not a man's apologist here. You go fucking do the work. People do the work. All right? People do the work on themselves. So because they don't want to do the work, and that's inherent laziness. And darling, you've got to admit that for you a little it was that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You withdrew from the societal games of whatever this is that people do because everything is so fake. No one actually knows who's real anymore. And this is what I'm leading to because it's not enough that we've had all sorts of things that we use as cosmetic, not just cosmetics, but, you know, clothing, etc., etc. We use clothing as a mask or a map, and that's what I say. But when I talk about fashion, the Stylander tomorrow, stay tuned for that. Fashion is a language, it's a map or a mask. But then we use cosmetics. I mean, we can use bras and guys can stuff socks down there or get tattoos and we all, you know, we think they're really strong and brave and whatever. And then there's the cosmetic enhancements, and then there's fillers and filters, and it's just never ending. And then we plug our pores with synthetics to make us smell good and attract the opposite gender or the gender you wish to attract based on synthetics. So, and now on top of that, we have deep fake porn now coming for soft porn as well. Now, I do remember somewhere around 2021, OnlyFans had said they were going to take away sexually explicit material, and I don't know. And I don't mean to cringe like that. Again, I don't mean to be judgmental because I'm going to share a story with you of a young woman from the Philippines who has 3 million followers on Instagram and million followers, some more millions of followers on YouTube, and I don't know how many followers she'd have in on OnlyFans. But she, how do you? You know, she started it because she used to teach English as a second language in the Philippines and earned $1 an hour, which I think is at that time it's like 75. I don't even know what cents are. Pennies, 75 cents in UK. Like I know it's pound. Anyway, whatever. It's not good. It's not a lot. Yeah, pence. One of those things. Thanks, darling. And everyone was starving. Her family was starving. Her siblings couldn't go to school. And she decided to open an OnlyFans account after she saw what other women were making. And now she's raking in money. Her parents live well. She's bought them a nice house. Her siblings go to school. And she can get them nice things for their birthdays and things like that. She's buying some land so she can make big houses. And she got this. She got this money by sharing her body and sexuality on platforms on OnlyFans. And I know a lot of women go, great. A lot of people think, great, good for her. And a part of me does think, yeah, great. If there's going to be a demand, you get paid for that supply. And then the other part of me is like, holy shit, it's never going to end. Women are always going to be looked at this way. Because what the prevailing thought is that women will do anything for money. And they will use themselves as the commodity to trade. And if it's okay for people and say models, supermodels, right? But that's an art form, and I'm getting to my own hypocrisy too as well. And also there are people who do that regardless, and they'll be considered just high society girls, you know, but they just parlay their attractiveness to marry well. Professional whores. They still get paid, but they get paid differently. A lot of them use their own wombs too. It's terrible. While women continue to prostitute ourselves in all these ways, oh, I don't know. It's difficult. It's a difficult thing, but in today's world, platforms like OnlyFans help women like this young woman in the Philippines make sure that her family doesn't starve, simply because especially Euro-white males like seeing young Filipinos apply oil all over themselves while wearing the skimpiest bikinis. And that's just what they show on Instagram. This young woman said if she could get to 3 million viewers, she was going to wear a skimpy bikini and apply oil all to herself. Look, a part of me thinks, great, at least these guys are not going out and subjecting other women to that. But unfortunately, the reason why they're not doing that is because they expect all women, real living women, to behave like that. If we behave like that, it's only to the man who is most worthy. A man has to be worthy of what a woman has. Her love, her sexuality, her heart, her trust, her sensuality, her genitalia. And primarily her mind, because that's where it all is. The orgasm starts here, in here. And it starts with trust. But going back to this, what I'm really concerned about and I want to talk about, what is interesting stuff going on back there. What I do want, I love the way he peppers things. It's so sexy. Oh gosh, I do tend to digress and take something serious, and then it becomes something, I digress and talk about something else. But so now there's going to be AI young women who, and we already have seen that they're on Instagram. My sister friends sent me, we have a chat thing and we send each other fun memes and interesting news stories and spirituality, stuff like that. It's great. And one sent me this about this model who has like 15,000 followers, and she's stunning, but she looks like she could be any Victoria's Secret clone, because Victoria's Secret, they're all clone models, right? So she looks like she could be any one of them. Turns out she's not actually real. She's sorry, darling. What am I doing here? She's. Oh, sorry. What? What am I doing? It's when I come in here into Studio K, just take everything over. Would you like me to move out of your way, darling?
No, I just needed a grate because of the rice. Right. I didn't want it to go down. It's all right. I've washed my hands.
Sorry about that, but this is live, you know. This is reality TV. This is reality TV. Things happen, okay? Things happen. Anyway, so this young woman who has got the 3 million followers and she's raking in the money to help to, you know, sustain her family. she has agreed to her likeness being used for these AI, you know. So now these fans of hers can buy the AI and have the AI her do anything they ask, unless of course she has stipulations in the programming. But we know, all women know, that we can't trust anything the patriarchy does for the patriarchy. Sorry. I trust individual men. There are men in this world who can be trusted. But the patriarchy is there for the patriarchy, and they have got foot soldiers in women, especially misogynist women. But not all women are misogynists who do these things, but they don't quite understand. As far as they're concerned, well, they're making money. I have read many articles, and I have read some articles out about the, especially Australian young women who are on OnlyFans, and they're making a lot of money, and they feel good. But and also in times of strife and stress and crisis and cost of living, I think pornographic industries and one of the major industries to go up, because not all people, I'm sure, from the articles I'm reading, make that money. You do have to be consistent, and I think you have to be okay with what is being asked of you. I don't know, but I'm going to assume it's basically like a peep show, how they used to have these, where you can go in and behind a glass or something. The reason why I know these things is there's another very interesting thing, is that I used to work as the main journalist for a business that, I'm turning the camera on to you, darling, that it was very interesting. I'll talk to you about this. This was the first one of its kind listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, started by a woman. It was an all-woman crew. It was really incredible. And I was the credible journalist, and I wrote articles on, oh, look, we've got things happening here. I wrote articles on a variety of topics, and I'll share that with you on some new shows launching and talking a little bit about all of that. But right now we're looking at dumplings. Darling, am I showing dumplings, or am I just showing them?
Yeah. It's all.
Because, no, what I mean is that I start watching what you're doing and the camera goes like somewhere else. Oh, fantastic. I do need to tell the history of these chopsticks. I have had these chopsticks for a very long time, like 25 years. No, my God, I've had them 30 years. And we only have 3 left, but I don't really know the history of them too much. I'm sorry.
I cook with them now.
I love that you cook with them. I love that they're put to good use.
Ivory, right?
Yes, that's perhaps what I didn't want to say. And because tusks of elephants, and elephants get killed, and poachers do terrible things to animals, especially rhinos. That's why they're almost extinct. They was said that the horn of that is made completely of hair, hard hair. But that's why it can be powdered down into becoming that thing that, unfortunately, the Chinese people then used as an aphrodisiac.
Medicinal thing. Mm-hmm. Again, medicine.
Where was I talking about? I was talking about how an oyster develops its pearl, and I was equating that to pregnancy and stuff. So I must put that episode up on Radio Fly. I'm going to move the camera back now to here.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's very disturbing to me. So I guess it's a peep show, but the performers, or however they do have to actually do whatever it is the person who's purchased their time has asked of them. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel that that's quite, I don't know. Oh, we've got some sizzle happening. So I'm, oh look, clickbait, I've got boobs out too, look. I don't need to show you my skin. Having said that, I love being naked as well. Only when it's hot. He loves being naked. I love him being naked. Where was I? I was talking. Sorry, I got lost with the thought of your body, my darling. What am I talking about? Oh, look, it's almost time for us to go. But we'll show you photographs of the finished product, except I might go after we show the first dumplings.
Yeah, sure.
Well, the feed is traditionally about an hour and a half. And, you know, you had done a lot of prep, etc. at the start of it. So I do want to show this. Can we see? Is the camera down there?
No, it's up here.
Oopsies. How about this?
That's it.
Wonderful. Oh, yum. Ooh, what's happening here?
Oh, I'm going to heat the oil and drop it in there so it
Oh, yum.
heats
And what
the
does that
garlic
do?
and ginger
So what
and
is
chili.
this?
This is for the dipping sauce.
Oh my gosh. Gosh, I wish it wasn't so bright here. YouTube, I love you, but could you please allow us some settings on the camera?
So I'm heating some oil in a small pan.
Right.
I'm just going to drop it in there so it sizzles it.
Oh, yummy. Oh, well, I've got to keep the camera here. But I don't really want to talk about, you know, yucky stuff then. I want to talk about good things. So I want to talk about how good this dumpling. I'm not talking about yucky stuff. I'm talking about deep stuff. God, yucky. Yes, I am 53 and I am a writer and a wordsmith. And I like yucky to explain some topics that aren't very pleasant to talk about, nor unpack, nor to think about from all perspectives. And it is a very difficult thing as a woman to see what other women have to do in order to survive, but also knowing that what they're doing is making it difficult for all of us. It's a catch-22. And it shouldn't be, because if women united, we could really change that. But anyway, so that's the food for thought part of this, but I still haven't finished talking about it. So when you let the oil sizzle, let me know.
Yeah.
How's the camera angle looking, darling?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, cool. So I'll let you do your thing there. Now what else can I talk about if I don't want to talk about the yucky stuff? It's not yucky. I don't want to bash into women. We get bashed into about everything, about all things. And, you know, men, you yourself have said, darling, that men are the problem.
Yep.
And you've worked on yourself, you know, and
As much as I could.
so, look, I do agree that maybe not everybody wants the chore, and we are talking about a world that has already got all of this in place, right? All of the constructs. Oh, it's oil time. Sizzle, baby. My mouth is like a massive shower head right now. I have got it's watering from all angles because this is going to be absolutely delicious. Thank you, darling. Ooh. This is wonderful. Yum. This is a slow burn. I know everyone likes their cooking shows and all their shows and all cut and, you know, edited and scheduled. I mean, not scheduled, we schedule now, but scripted and etc. And then put into bite-sized pieces. But like good cooking, everything is a slow burn. Our shows are live and they're a slow burn. Come with us, sit with us, listen, let's share insights, and we have interesting things we talk about, interesting things we share. Ooh, what was that, darling? Sugar? A little bit of sugar.
A little bit of sugar, yes.
What for?
Just makes the flavor pop a bit, and so it's not too
Sharp.
yeah.
Not too sharp on the tongue. See, that's what sugar does. It actually sort of, like the word mellifluous, sugar does that to the palate. It cuts the sharpness. Oh, let me smell that. Oh my god! So what is in that dipping sauce, darling?
Ginger, garlic, chili,
Ginger, garlic, chili,
sesame oil,
soy sauce,
and some basil.
and some basil. Ooh, fresh basil, by the way, from our vegetable garden, in our community garden, in our complex. Oh, I was talking about how there should be professional butcher farms, right? So if people are willing, like, wouldn't it be wonderful if we said, well, okay, look, community, Dwayne is willing to do the hard work of going to get, and I will accompany you because I think we should go back to the old ways of honoring. And people do, when they sacrificed animals, they were supposed to honor the animal. You know why? Because, well, for starters, in Hinduism, we're not supposed to eat a cow.
Right.
It's not just because it is more practical sense to not kill the cow, therefore you can get ongoing milk. And from that milk you can get other food products. So that's, for me, quite a practical thing. But in Hinduism, when Lakshmi was born, and Lakshmi, of course, is a goddess of Hinduism, not just any goddess, main goddess. And she was born, I do have some wonderful stories to share with you. Please join us for Sitara. You know, that's quite a lovely, but I don't know if that comes under that, but we will, I know, talk about it. But Lakshmi, the goddess Lakshmi, the highest form, she is the highest form of Shakti. But there are many forms of Lakshmi as well. But the main Lakshmi is the highest form of Shakti. When she was born, and I will share with you, I don't think I have told this story to Dwayne, it was during a battle between the gods and the demons. And gods weren't always immortal, so this is what's a very interesting story in Hinduism. And it is a beautiful story of how it all came to being, and Lakshmi came from that. And so did a goddess in the form of a cow. And so is the mother of all cows, and she goes within. The mother of all cows is carried in all cows. And very interestingly, a fact of life is that we are in our mothers when our mothers are in our grandmothers. That's amazing. But a story I was, but something I was sharing on when I was recording an episode of Radio Fly, talking about motherhood and likening it to how an oyster, when it first has a grain of sand inside it, and that grain of sand is actually irritating that oyster, and it's what it does then is coat this grain of sand as to stop it from irritating the flesh of the oyster. And this grain of sand is what becomes the pearl. And to me, this is very much what pregnancy is. It is. We talk about the fact that it is actually an irritation of the body. And then what happens is that it starts to form. All of a sudden, everything from the mother's DNA, only if the mother wants it. This is why it should be a choice, because everything is an irritation. And oyster has decreed that pearl to be an irritation. But okay, it's going to make that pearl a beautiful thing.
Yeah, sure.
And this is what pregnancy and human beings are supposed to be as well. I am talking about this for a reason, and I can't remember now why, but I was talking about we are being in our mothers when our mothers are in their mothers. So, but I do also feel that women definitely need to have autonomy of their body, and that's also what I've been talking about with all of these decisions women make to do things to make money, because we all have to make money. We all have to make money, and if the demand is there, of course these women are going to do it. Of course these people, and not just women, guys are doing it too, but somehow when a guy does it, it's kind of like, I don't know. But when a woman does it, she is looked down upon. I mean, listen to me. I am so judgmental about this, and yet I don't want to be. I have been fortunate in that I have never had to resort to any such way, but even my language and the way I speak about it says makes it out that I'm saying or inferring that the women who choose they've had to resort to such. Again, if the demand is there, why not the supply? Except that the supply is what makes the suppression stay in place, because there are very few people who can differentiate between fantasy and reality when their fantasy is given to them on a plate of reality. So guys who are doing this, and then these are the guys who are going to get those AI likenesses, and they're going to get these AI likenesses to do whatever they want. And so in their minds, they're going to start actually thinking that the likeness and the person who is the likeness that they're abusing, really, then should also do whatever it is they want. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If a parasocial relationship will form, which they will form with the likeness, the AI likeness. They do actually have a parasocial relationship with the woman that they are only fanning, because the woman is doing it for money. She doesn't actually love you, mate. She doesn't think you're just the sweetest guy with the biggest dick she's ever seen. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's what happens there. I don't know. But I'm seeing it on YouTube that there are actual accounts with millions of followers, with shorts that have millions and millions of views. Just 60 seconds of a young Euro chick, girl, woman, whatever, pretending, and she's being filmed by her boyfriend, I know, and that's the other thing. Who's exploiting whom here, you know? Who's actually exploiting here? I am very puzzled by it all, because this account, and now people are like, where's this account? Can I go see it? If a guy's watching. So this girl, she asks her viewers to measure their dicks and tell her what their size is. It's all bullshit, of course. It's all bullshit. So she holds up a measuring tape, right? And then posts an answer of what some guy has said his dick measures in his dreams. Anyway, so she holds up the measuring tape, and then she'll hold up an equivalent bottle. And then, even though you can tell, even though she's sitting at waist height, the camera, and if she moves a little, because she pretends to moan and groan, you can see the waistband of her jeans. But she pretends to insert the object that is equivalent to what the measuring tape says. She pretends to insert that into herself and moans and groans. And who's the idiot for believing she does that? She gets the millions of views, and I do hope that they earn money, because I don't get it. Like, what are you doing? What information are you sharing? And why do I then think so arrogantly that people only watch things to gain knowledge from it? I'm an idiot. And this is where quality comes in over quantity. What do you want to know? What do you want to gain? Do you want to remain stupid? Well, that's a bit harsh. I'm not talking to you, dear viewer. You're here, so clearly not. But anyway, I don't really know what to say, but we will talk more, unpack this in another episode, or actually, we may unpack this on an episode of our podcast, one of our podcasts, Radio Fly. Now, we have 4 under Radio Fly. Radio Fly is where I unpacked my trauma and my healing process. It is very personal. It is deeply personal and very raw, and I don't ever want to listen to any of them, because I will not be able to listen to how I just stripped myself bare. I took off all my masks, and I took off my skin so I can rebuild myself from the inside out. But we have season 2, which is 2024, and our season 2 episodes are actually a bit more topical, a bit more fun, not as raw, But we also have RF2, the interviews, and this is where I talk with movers and shakers and paradigm shifters and just fantastic people. Right now, it's all women of different backgrounds and different ages, but as we go along, there'll be more. And RF3 is Fly FM. And Fly FM is where we will now be talking about quite a few things, like what I'm talking about here. We'll unpack it. These will be, and also where you will be able to hear The Riff, because The Riff is a show we are premiering tomorrow, Sunday, April the 14th. And it is a show about music, and we'd love you to join us. The show will also be on our podcast, RF3 Fly FM. So what's our progress here, darling? Oh, look at what's the angle like?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, yummy.
So,
Cool.
Yeah. Gonna work on my dumpling wrap a bit.
Look, it's going to be okay. Should we take a bite? Should we actually?
Top there, nicely crisp in the bottom.
Because these are supposed to be steamed anyway, so even though you're frying them in oil, they are supposed to be steamed, so they're not like wontons, which are crispy, right?
These are dumplings.
These are dumplings, so they're steamed, and that looks pretty good to me. Are we allowed to take a bite?
Put it there for you.
Oh, it's for me. Okay. All right. So let me leave. May I move this out of the way?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Sorry, I'll pull this behind the scenes stuff, but it's what we do. Okay, so here we go. Oh my goodness me. I don't know. Oh,
Quite hot, okay?
oh damn. Oh, oops, sorry. Oops, you're not supposed to actually poke food with the chopsticks. You're supposed to lift. That's me saying that. So, excuse me. You want to hold that, darling? While I... Oh, my gosh. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry, this is all sort of falling apart, but wow. Only because I made it fall apart. Darling, you should be proud. Oh, whoopsies. I'm so happy you are not watching me eat right now. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, we've got more sizzle happening. Well, those are the pork dumplings then, darling.
I'm gonna make some fried rice. Everyone knows how to make fried rice, so...
Everyone may know how to make fried rice, and look, I'm part of everyone and I don't. So, and I have no wish to, so let's get that straight. But the fried rice you make, sorry about that, the fried rice you make will be with stir-fry vegetables. So it's going to be, so it's a stir-fried rice with, in the wok. Look there, every household needs a wok. Woks are fantastic. And of course, there's no good Chinese household in any way. And this is Chinese person here. But having said that, as an Indian person, what do we always have as Indians? Tawa, which is where the roti is cooked. And what I don't have is a sil and loha. And that's the river stone and the flat stone that, you crush everything on. My mother used to have one that I think she had for all her life. And I don't know where it is anymore. And I'm very sad about that because these are things that, hopefully we can get our own sil and loha, darling. But there's other things that, look, they make fun of this, that Indo-Fijians always have the kitchen and the outside kitchen. And that's because the smell of spices, etc. And I do think it's because people put far too many spices and stuff in their food. You don't have to put all that many spices. Spices were actually introduced to food to make it palatable. You don't have to drown the ingredients with spices that actually hit your palate first, and then you can't taste the actual food. But anyway, we're coming up to our end time on The Feed. Not a cooking show, but it's about food and food for thought. So, delicious. And besides, I really want to cut this short because I want to go and eat, and I don't want to eat in your ear. Oh, wow. This looks absolutely good. Look, just one last look at this wonderful dip. Oops, it's going to drip all over the place if I do that. So, otherwise, thank you very much, darling. That's us today.
Fried and steamed. So.
Fried and steamed. Fried and steamed. Oh, you're steaming in there. Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. We do need to get some of those steamers as well, huh?
We have a steamer.
Oh, we have steamers. Look, I don't know.
I mean the proper ones.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The proper ones. Hello. We need to have the proper ones. All right, well, that's us for today. Thank you very much for watching or being here. We hope you join us tomorrow for Stylander and The Riff. And we've got the times there. We'll see you then. Blah, blah, blah. I've got to go eat. Bye. Thank you for being here. Bye.